Latonya and
Ray,
powered by worldstarhitradio
and celebritymediatv.
Hey. Oh, how everybody doing? We hope everybody is having a great time.
Woo, that was nice.
I know, that was beautiful. I'm sorry, you guys, but we are paying attention. We love each and every one of you, and we thank you for tuning in with your girls. Also, go to worldstarhitradio.com, okay? Yes.
Every Tuesday at 8:30.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That is so. That song is so nice. Make sure y'all send us a message and let us know what you think about our new song. Because we got that new song.
And it's new. And it's not even finished yet.
Oh, that's just the beginning of what your girls have going on.
Yeah, so we just wanted to share that with you guys. Because we told y'all in the beginning, we told y'all that we won't stop. We won't stop.
And we're not stopping.
Yes, and I know everybody is looking, wondering, who is this beautiful lady in the middle of us?
How are you today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, you guys. This is the beautiful, great Dr. Tangi Crossfield. Hey.
Thank you for coming.
Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
She is an amazing, amazing woman.
Yes.
She has so much going on, so much strength. You know, we've been following what she does, and she's our sister because she's at World Star Hit Radio, so we're radio sisters as well.
Yes, you guys. And her show starts every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And she always have great shows, great guests, so great entrepreneurs. You guys gotta tune in, okay? And this is a lady that wears many, many, many hats. We can't even keep up with you. I'm serious.
We were talking about that. We were just saying that she's doing so much. You've done so much, and you're still doing so much. It's definitely great to see a woman striving like you are. It's an honor for you to be here with us today.
Yes, we really appreciate you, sweetie. So we want you to tell all our listeners and viewers about Miss Dr. Tangi.
Well, I'm a former professor of history and an undergraduate advisor as well. And I transitioned out of that in 2015 and entered into what I call the world of entertainment, being a creative producer, the host and executive producer of my show, Love Manifesto, where we talk about love, you guys.
Everybody loves love.
Yes. And you know, that's something that everyone needs. And so my goal is to spread that love all over the globe in hopes of giving people something that they don't know that they're missing. Some people don't even know that they're missing love. And to tell you different things about love and how it can transform your entire life. I've written 8 books, but I only have 1 book that's published, and that's Forever 17, the Bianca Dillard story, and it chronicles the life and death of my only child. And so that's an experience that I share in hopes of giving other people hope who've had that experience before.
That must have been a really hard time.
Extremely difficult, yes.
How did you get through a situation like that? I know there's, listeners and viewers out there who have been through the same thing that you've been through. How did you get through a time like that?
Well, one of the things I discovered, I had to do some research because I had to figure out why am I experiencing, all of these emotions. And through that experience, what I discovered is that maybe 2 or 3% of the population will have an experience where they will lose an only child. Yes. And so that means that most people will never fully understand what it is that you're dealing with. And some people think that all deaths are the same. All deaths are not the same. People who experience the death of an only child, and an only child who's young, an only child that's not sick, it's just sudden, they usually lose their minds. Seriously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they become addicts. Yes. A lot of negative experiences that they have, but I'll tell you what I did is that I had to learn how to take each day one at a time, and then finally I started living moment to moment. And I wasn't living, I was existing. It was like I was a zombie in this world. And it took me some time to come to terms with that loss, because it's not like losing a car. You can go buy another car. It's like, okay, I walked for a year, but now I got a car. No, when you lose an only child and that's it, children are irreplaceable. And so it was really quite overwhelming, and I had to do a lot of praying. And I was very angry with God,
Of course.
very angry.
How old was your child?
17.
Wow. So your book explains the hardship and everything that you definitely got to go get that book.
Yeah.
And where can they find that book?
At Amazon.com. I'm relaunching the book because I had it launched through Tate Publishing Company, and they went into bankruptcy. And so when they went into bankruptcy, Amazon stopped carrying the product. But I have some. You know, I have about 300 copies. So if you're interested, you can certainly connect with me until it's relaunched again on Amazon.com.
Okay. And Dr. Tangi, if you don't mind, what was the cause of your child's?
She was a car accident. And what's so interesting is that they could not determine the cause of death, although she was in a car accident, because she had a broken pelvic bone, she had a broken jawbone, and some scratches on her arm, but nothing dictated death. She did not inquire any life-threatening causes. And so they held her body extra long because they was trying to figure out, was she doing drugs? Was she, what's going on?
Yeah.
None of that. Then they finally said her spirit just left her body. And so what we have to do is just put it as trauma, because they could not explain why she died. They say it's like she just left.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that situation like that, only Jesus, because I do not understand it, but I worked at a facility in Illinois where we had this young girl. She was a beautician, she was a beauty queen. I mean, she was a makeup artist, all of that, and her mom passed, and I worked in the facility, and they said that she got her dressed for the funeral, she did her makeup, and they said like a month after she had passed, they found her walking down the street like butt naked. So it's a blessing, like you said, nothing but God that you still in your right mind, because I know people that just lost it, and I was the one that had to serve her in the facility and everything, and I mean, she's not there, period. Like, we had to line them up, and they said they don't know what happened, but she was very adamant she wanted to do her mom's makeup. She didn't want nobody to do her makeup or her hair, and they left her in there. And I said, well, wow, maybe they shouldn't have left her alone. Like, what could have happened during that time? But it's just like, you'll never know. You know what I mean? And then a month after that, they seen her walking down the street naked, and they knew something was wrong. So, yeah.
Yeah, I cried all the time. And when I wasn't really, like, emotional, tears would just fall from my eyes. I could just be sitting down and tears would just start falling from my eyes. Yeah, it was overwhelming.
So during that time, you know how they say during hard times, you know, people kind of run from it, so they try to get involved in so many different things. Is that something that you did, or did you just get, close the door, get by yourself, and just deal with it?
Well, what I decided to do was to write the book, right? And I remember writing, I would soil the papers, so with my tears, I would have to ball up the papers and start all over again with writing. So I just kind of poured myself into writing the story. And I was really, really angry with God about all the things that unfolded. Because I said, God, there are some children out here are really bad. You know, why would you take my child? She was a good child. I don't understand this. I teach. I know what I said.
Right.
And so, I mean, when I say angry with God, and I remember one night a friend of mine called me, and he says, Tangi, he says, the Lord told me to call you. I was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah, he says, read this scripture, and once you read it, it was some Psalms he told me to read. He says, and God is going to speak to you. And I'm like, really? I'm getting ready to let God have it. When I get off this phone, he said for me to come to him, I'm going to let him have it. And I let him have it. I was like, I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense, What were you trying to prove? What this is all about? Are you trying to destroy me? Why didn't you take me instead of take her? And so I finally read that psalm, and at the end of that psalm, I heard an audible voice. And it said, who are you to question me? And I said, wait a minute.
Chills going through me right now.
I said, who? I said, did you just say that? You know I'm overwhelmed, right? And you said that? You asked me, who am I to question you? And you spoke in an audible tone. You know how many times I prayed and you said nothing?
Jeez. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was overwhelmed. I was like, you know, many times I prayed and you said nothing. And this is the one time you say something? And this is what you say? God said absolutely nothing. It was a silence that was weird. It was like a silence fell in the room. I was like, okay. He said nothing to me after that. But it wasn't until sometime later that I could start sensing. It's like my gift really accelerated. I thought I was losing my mind. You could be sitting here and I know what you're thinking. And I'm like, well, am I losing my mind? And I said to a friend of mine, I said, am I losing my mind? Because such and such. I said, were you thinking this? It was like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I've lost my mind. That's what I thought. That it was something shifted in me. It's something about having that experience that caused me to see life differently, the trees differently, to hear people differently, to operate differently. Everything about my life totally shifted.
Wow. Oh, Angie, this is just awesome. I know it's called Let's Get Personal. We were all excited. We were going to ask other questions. I'm like, I'm not going to touch that subject, but it's somebody out there that needs to hear that, because everybody, every day is losing a child. I know I'm from ICU. I worked at Grady. I watched people that was the only child, and they would lose their mom, you know, and well, I've seen that twice happen, and they were young. Like one lady was 44 years old, so we let her daughter stay in the room. Normally, when the body, when they take their last breath, we're normally let you stay in the room for like an hour or two, but we just let this young lady just lay in the bed with her mother. But after some hours went over, we had to get, she was like cling to her mother, and like, of course I'm crying. We try not to be emotional in front of the patients, you know, because we try to be there to uplift them. And she was like, this is all I got. Like, where do I go from here? This is all I had. I have nobody else. And it was like, she was the only child, and her mom was like that.
And I don't always feel like talking about it. Something happens for whatever reason every now and then. I get to this place that I'm okay with sharing. And I didn't plan to share this with you guys tonight.
Wow! I'm so honored. That's why I'm just telling you, sweetie. I said we wasn't going to bring that up. I'm like, no, we're going to go into all the fun stuff. And
It was meant
oh my gosh. Because I'm over here in tears. Like, I have 5 kids and can't even imagine losing one. And I'm trying to hold on to one. And, well, all my kids, is, you know, God always asks them to cover them. But it's 2 of them that's like in sensitive situations that I can get a phone call any day. But, you know, of course, I stay praying. And just to hear you and, oh, God, Tangi, Dr. Tangi. So what would you tell other mothers out there? Because it's other mothers and family members that's out there, they don't think they can make it another day. But what words would you give of inspiration to another mom that's going through this?
Well, I actually got to a place where I felt like I really wanted to die. And I would pray for death. I would literally go to God and say, okay, my life has ended and I'm merely existing. And so if you really love me, when I go to sleep, I will not wake up, because I have absolutely nothing to live for. And so I ended up having to take Lunesta and Ambien even to go to sleep, because I could not go to sleep. My eyes were up. I kept blaming myself. Okay, maybe if I had done it this way, maybe I have done something differently, maybe if I had said something, maybe I could have prevented all of this. And I couldn't prevent any of that from happening. And so I had to learn this, is that my daughter loved me so much that she would want me to exist. She would want me to be happy. I felt really bad about being happy without her. I was like, why would I be happy? It would be like she didn't mean anything to me, right? So I was like, I can't be happy. And I thought about it one day. I was like, and I told her father, I said, look, let it go, because she wants you to be happy. So she wants you to be happy. It's time to start living. I would go to the cemetery on a regular basis and be at the cemetery bawling my eyes out. I mean, seriously, crying at the cemetery. Crying. I would take a chair and sit down at the cemetery and make calls and talk to people and sit there for the longest time. Because I felt like I would abandon her if I would leave. And each time I would leave, I said, I'm so sorry that I'm leaving you again. you know. That I will say this, I know my daughter, I know she doesn't want her mother to just exist. She would want me to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Your child wants you to be happy, right? This is a new chapter in your life, and this is another opportunity to move forward, you know, in your life.
So, Dr. Tangi, do you remember the last words you guys said?
Yes, I do. Well, she and I always said we loved each other. I'm
Yes.
so happy about
Yes.
that. And we would play this little game. I'm like, I love you so much. You just know I love you more. And I was like, I love you like 1,000 times more. She's like, I love you 1,000,000 times more. And I'm like, well, I love you unlimited. You know, I love you unlimited. You know, we would go on that. And it was like, okay, bye. Okay, but I still love you. You know, I still love you, right? So the last time I saw her was the day of my birthday. And I said to her, I said, do you want to go hang out with me? She says, no, Mom, because I went to this party last night, and I'm just like so tired. And I remember holding her and hugging her and holding her and hugging her and saying, I love you so much. I don't know why I did it that way, but I kept saying, oh, she was sleepy. And I was like, oh, girl, I just love you so much. She was like, Mom, I love you too. Oh, my gosh. I said, but you know, I just love you. Oh, my gosh, I just love you so much. It's like it was difficult to let go. And I had a dream. And in the dream, I could see my nephew in this car. And he was driving, and all of a sudden he had this accident, head-on collision, and he flew through the window, and he died instantly. And so I called my daughter. I said, you know, I had this dream about Marquis, and I told her the dream. She says, oh my gosh, Mom, you know I love living. She says, I'm so glad it wasn't me. So I called my sister, and I tell her, I said, look, put Marquis on the phone. So I'm rebuking death, and I'm like, the devil is a liar. You're not going to kill my nephew. You know, he has much to live for, and all that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, right after that, it was my daughter that was killed.
Wow.
Like that.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's
I
hard.
do believe in dreams. I'm always having dreams, warning dreams. Oh, guys.
Sometimes it's not the person that you
Yeah.
that's in
Yeah.
the dream.
Exactly.
It means something totally different.
Right. It could be someone else. In this case, it was my daughter and not my nephew.
And when did you get the call?
Well, I got the call. I was driving. In fact, I was in a shut-in that morning. I went to this prayer session, and it was around 5 o'clock. And I remember being in this prayer session, and all of a sudden, I started standing up. I said, why do I feel odd? I said, I feel so strange. I just paused. I said, wow, this is weird. For some reason, I feel really strange in this prayer session. And so when it was over, I said, that was really weird. And I got in my car, and I'm driving, and I get this call, and someone says, well, did you hear? I said, no, she says, well, how come no one called and told me that Bianca was killed in a car accident? And she's screaming. I said, what do you mean she was killed in a car accident? That doesn't make any sense. So I call my parents. I'm like, what is going on? Because I just got this call that Bianca was killed in a car accident. And they were screaming and yelling, and I'm thinking, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. I remember going home, and I remember opening the door, and I said, God, that is not true, right? It can't be true. That just can't be true. Somebody's going to call and tell me that it's a lie, and it was somebody else, or it's just a, fake story.
Yeah.
I started getting confirmations about that. Yeah, she was dead. I was like, so does that mean she's not coming back? I'm like, you mean like never coming back? So she ended up having 3 funerals, standing room only. Yeah, 3 funerals. Yeah. Standing room only. People were doing salutes. They were writing poetry. They were doing all kinds of programming for her. I said, I had no idea. I knew she was very popular, but I didn't know she was that popular. I mean, even on different restaurants and businesses, they had a salute to her.
Oh, wow.
She
meant a lot to
like her
people.
mommy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apple didn't fall too far from the tree, I see.
Oh, wow. We got to come back. You guys got to stay tuned. We will be back. We're going to finish listening to Dr. Tangi Crossfield. You guys, keep it live. Hey, you guys, we are back. It's your girls. Let's get personal with Latonya and
Ray.
Powered by worldstarhitradio. We are at celebritymediatv. You know, I got a little excited there, yes. But we are here with the beautiful Dr. Tangi Crossfield, you guys, and we are talking about something that's very important. This year, we have had a lot of people lose their loved ones. So I guess we had just this fun topic, but I guess now we have a topic now.
Yes.
Dr. Tangi, we appreciate you so much and just your braveness to even talk about this. Like my heart over here, like I don't know if I want to cry, roll on the floor for you, but it's no pity party because right now this is just to help somebody else, and I'm just grateful to you that you're even talking about it.
It's hard. Did it take you a long time? Like, from the beginning when it happened, how long did it take you to actually be able to talk about it and come out?
It took me at least 3 years because, according to research, it takes 2 to 3 years to come to terms with the death. The fact that this is finality, right? It's just the way it's going to be. And so at that point, I had to start bearing high school graduation, right? She's not going to graduate from high school. She's not going to graduate from college. She's not going to get married. I had to bury that. She's not going to have any kids. Oh, I won't have any grandchildren. Oh, I had to bury that too, right? So after burying her, I had to bury all of those expectations that I had of her, she and I, experiencing together. And so going through all of that. And then again, of course, I let God have it. You know, I'm like, okay, did you ever think about making this, when you made this decision, it meant that now I have to bury all of these things that I thought was going to happen. So I see other people with grandkids, and I'm like, oh, that must really be nice, right? You have a grandchild? Some people get mad. I told them I'm not ready for a grandchild. I'm thinking, oh, I would love to have a grandchild, right?
Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Now 3 years.
So it's been 3 years?
It's been more than 3 years, but it feels like yesterday.
Yes, it does.
But I'll tell you this. I kept wondering, why was this even done? You know, why would I have this girl and this girl get killed so young? I mean, it just didn't make any sense. And what I realized is that what was her purpose? And when different people started calling me and writing stuff, I realized how she impacted all of these people. People really relied on her. I didn't know she was giving all of this wisdom and information to people. She even told people what college they should go to. I'm like, what? She told you what?
She got it from my mama.
Yeah, she was
smart.
like, now you need to go to Howard, and this is why you need to go to Howard. And then so I said, yeah. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. But what she really taught me, she taught me about love. She showed me how love feels and how to recognize love. And because of my connection with her, I really know what love looks like and feels like. Yeah, I really know what that unconditional love is. Beyonce has a song, Flaws and All. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. That song reminds me so much of my daughter. There was nothing I could do or say to deter her from loving me. And I'm like, that may never happen again in my life, but I'll tell you this, I've been loved before. I've been loved before. I know what that looks like and feel like. And so I'm grateful for that.
So, Dr. Tangi, at that moment when you had to make funeral arrangements, how did you get through that? And I'm just asking you that because I had a cousin, and the funeral, it took a while before we even got started, because every time we brought her up, she would just faint out, and they brought her up like about 4 or 5 times, but her baby was only 8 months old, and it was just like a little doll. They were beautiful. So, and it happened the same thing with my grandmother. My cousin never went up. My grandmother was like her mother to her, and they had to keep walking her out. Every time she thinks she can get there, she would get this close and just faint out. So how was that, reliving that moment?
Well, you know, she had 3 celebrations. We didn't call them funeral services. There's 3 celebrations. The first celebration, I didn't have to do it. There were other group of people who did it. one of the things that they did was really interesting, even to this day. It was by invitation only. And although it was by invitation only, it was still like standing room only, and there were people standing outside that couldn't get in, right? So it was in a gymnasium, and the entire gymnasium was full, and they put extra chairs on the floor. All of those were full. And so I remember going into that session, but I really can't tell you what they were saying. I was there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I remember people bringing me flowers. You know, people just kept bringing me flowers, and I'm standing there like, well, you know, I'm thinking, it's like, is this really real?
Yeah.
And then the second service was, it was a lot of drama with that one, because my mom hired someone who had dementia, and they were forgetting things, and I was like, well, why are we dealing with this person? And so it's like, we've done business with them for the longest time, and so I had to, at that point, someone else was supposed to take care of things that they dropped, and I finally had to find her a gown at the very last minute. And there was a young lady who won some type of pageant, and she had this gown. This gown was, when I tell you it was spectacular, it was spectacular. I was like, I really need that gown for my daughter. And she said to me, okay, you can have it for $300. And I said, okay, well, I'll take it. It was much more expensive than that. I said, okay, I'll take it for $300. And so I gave the people some crystals for her jewelry. And interestingly, the crystals disappeared. Yeah, the crystals disappeared. So when we finally get to the church, I remember there it was so packed that people were standing on the outside of this church, right? And it was a large church. And so I remember going in, but I really don't remember like a whole lot of anything. It's like I was going in and out, but you couldn't tell it, right? I was standing there, but you couldn't tell that I was phasing in and out. And it was interesting. People brought bus, van, you know, some of the stuff I heard of later because I don't remember. I was present, but I wasn't there mentally. And so that was the second service. The third service is the one that I really planned, right? And so because those two services was in Florida, and the third one was here. So that's when I had to deal with the planning of this final. I was like, okay, this really means that this is it. Like, it's a wrap, right? And so I didn't go to, you know how they have it when you go view the body before? I didn't go. I couldn't go. I said, no, I can't do that. And so the next day was the funeral, and that ended up being the same thing. Everybody couldn't fit in the church. And so, yeah, and so when I finally, because in Florida we didn't see her, you didn't see her body.
Okay.
And in Georgia you get to see her body, and there were people that flew here because they didn't get to see her in Florida. But yeah, it was, I don't know what to say. It was so mesmerizing. I kept getting all of these poems and letters that people just gave to me, and I incorporated it in the book.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And you were married at the time.
I'd already gone through a divorce, but my ex-husband came to the funeral. Yes.
Wow. And also, I know when we were preparing, getting Paul's, my husband's father, ready, luckily I picked this book up, and it said no matter how good you were to your parents, your loved ones, your siblings, your children, you'll always have that blame. They said that blame thing in your head always. And I never knew that, but I'm glad I did, because I didn't know my father was going to pass so soon. And that always stayed in my, like when they try to drive me crazy, like when they asked me at the hospital, so do you want your father to stay on dialysis? He can spend more time with you guys, but we agreed that since his heart was so weak, you know, that it would take him out quicker. So like to this day, I'm always like, dang, if we would have just kept him on that, but no, because it's like he knew he didn't have it because he was in his right mind and everything. So long story short, so when you said you kind of blamed yourself over and over again, they said that's a natural thing.
It is.
You know,
because you think that in some way you could have prevented that death. You could have made some different choices to prevent it, and I kept saying there had to be something I could have done or something I could have said. And of course, I avoided having counseling. So I'm like, I'm not crazy. And I finally decided to seek counseling. And so Pastor Sharon and Jack Valentino actually did my counseling for me. And they operated the prophetic.
Wow.
It was amazing. And so what I finally realized is that there was nothing I could say or do to change what was the inevitable. She served her time, she lived her life, and hers was just a short one. And that was it. And so I finally came to terms with not blaming myself.
There's like different stages that you go through, right? The anger.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the different stages that you had to go through to come to terms that, okay, this is it and I need to move forward and you're okay with God? Because I know you mentioned a few times that you were angry with God.
Mm-hmm. First, I had to give away all of the clothes except her sweet 16th birthday dress, some of her dolls and things like that, porcelain dolls I had collected from various countries that I had visited. I kept that collection, and so I finally took down the things off the wall because Lil Bow Wow was like her favorite. That was her boyfriend in her mind. Lil Bow Wow was her boyfriend in her mind, so she had this huge picture of him on the wall. So I finally took Lil Bow Wow down. Yeah, but her bed still has the same covering on it. It has some things that are changed, but there are some things that are still there to this day.
Wow. That's heavy, Tangy, oh guys. I'm just
So
amazed.
since then, since all this has happened and you've come to terms, what have you been doing now?
So you know what's so interesting is that my daughter always told me that she wanted to be in the world of entertainment and she wanted to be a dentist. So I said to her, you've got to be the dentist. That has to be your top priority. But if you get an opportunity to do this other stuff, then we can do that like part-time. And so she was like, okay, Mom. And I started having these dreams about doing the things that she kept telling me.
And Dr. I want to ask you that, like everything you've been through, like really serious careers, what made you go into the entertainment?
I couldn't understand it. I was like, Lord, what is going on? I have like 900 degrees, no, 5. I'm like,
she right about it.
I'm like, for real. I'm like, nobody gave me a piece of paper. I'm like, I worked for it. You know, it's not like a fake degree, you know, but I'm just like, I'm like, okay. So I find myself, the only doors that was opening was the doors in entertainment. I'm like, this is really weird.
Yeah. And you're doing such a great job, too.
Well, thank you. But I was like, I went to school to be a professor and, you know, have my own business and things like that. I'm like, I said, I had students that want to do what I'm doing. They went to school to do this and they can't find any way to do it.
Right, exactly.
And so, so that's where the doors are opening. But those are the dreams that I had before my daughter died.
Yeah.
I had dreams of me doing all of these things, and I kept saying, no, I ate something that I shouldn't be eating last night.
She was showing her real passion.
Yeah. So it's like I'm living her dream. I said, did she go there and say, God, you know, since I didn't get to do it,
Right.
let my mom do it, right?
He gave you great favor, too. Because when we seen it, we came here, we seen Dr. Tangi, all her layout. We like, oh my goodness, everything is perfected.
Very nice.
Yes, beautiful. Oh my goodness. So, because we were going to ask you that too. Like, out of everything you have done, like, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Well, I think my greatest accomplishment is getting a doctorate. It was not easy. There were many times I wanted to just walk away. I'm telling you, taking the courses, by the time you go through your master's degree, you've pretty much mastered taking tests. But when you're at the doctoral level, now you into writing and research, right?
Yes.
And so you have people that go through the courses and they end up ABD, all but dissertation. But when it comes time to do the dissertation and the defense, that's where a lot of people walk away. And outside of that, I would say being her mother, right? Being her mother.
Gosh, oh, that's beautiful. Being her mother. So what else did you learn from us? One of the things that you learned from her that you're doing today,
What I'm doing today.
other than the entertainment, what else did she?
You know, I tell you, we had some people thought of us as friends, right? And all of her friends wanted to come over. And then they had questions, and they would call my daughter and say, well, you know, so-and-so couldn't talk to their mom. So I need to ask you a question so I can tell them the question. And I remember us sharing, like, I like a certain type of music. She likes something different, and we'd share. She was like, okay, Mom, you've listened like 5 minutes, so it's not time for me to listen. But there was a song that we loved, that I really loved. What was it? It was this guy. It was something about, what's this guy? Nelly had a song.
Oh, girl, don't play with me. I love Nelly. Oh, my gosh.
There was a song Nelly had, and so I would say, gosh, I love it. So she'd come and she says, Mom, your song is on. And so we dance together. We're dancing together. I say, slow it down. You gotta be classy with it.
Not with Nelly's song.
Yeah. I said, that was it. I said, girl, I said, no.
Girl,
I said, you gotta be classy with it. You gotta be classy with it. Nasty is not the route we take. No, we don't take the nasty
but
route.
But you were the coolest mom.
Yeah, I was the coolest mom. She was like, oh my gosh. She says, most moms look like they have on their frocks, their head covered. When we go someplace, they're like, that's your sister? Is that your sister? And she says, Mom, you're not like so many other people's moms.
See, now that was the coolest. Bianca had the coolest mom. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. See, that's what I love. She's remembering the beautiful memories. And they always leave you to think about the memories. And sometimes that'll get you just smiling out of nowhere, just laughing. Yeah. So he's like, you were the coolest mom turned in. All right. So you got to stay cool, though. I know you got a lot of degrees. But every now and then you got to shake a tail feather for Bianca. Say, baby, this just for you.
Yeah, I said, you know, Nelly's a good-looking fine man. He's like a ship passing in the night. She was like, Mom, what do you mean he's like a ship passing in the night? I said, you might see him at night, but come morning, when the sun rises, he will not be there.
Oh,
he will not be there.
So beautiful. So no, look, Dr. Tangi, when Nelly come on and he starts singing, girl, you better say, hey, baby, it's for you. And just do stuff that you know at home by yourself, like, hey, get it in, girl. And I can see her like, that's my mom, that's my girl, yeah. Oh, that is beautiful.
Y'all had a beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Especially when they trust, you know, she trusted you.
Yeah. She brought out that coolness in you, see, so you can't be all stiff. You know, the Bible talks about stiff necked people. So every now and then, you gotta shake a tail feather. Oh, Dr. Tangi, we just so excited. We are honored that you even came on today.
And I mean, your story with
us. Because there's so many mothers and family members need to hear this. Because every day, even I'm not on Facebook all the time, but when I'm in the media and I'm looking, so many people are losing loved ones, and they need to hear this because we were supposed to talk about something else, you guys. So this was beautiful. Thank you, Lord God. Know what people need, you know. So we want everybody to tune in. Also, every Tuesday, you guys, Dr. Latangela is on Love Manifesto, okay, at 7 to 8. 7 to 8, because I always come in like when she's talking to me like 7:30. I'm at work still, and I'll be like,
I'm getting dressed here and stuff.
Yeah.
I play it while I'm getting dressed.
Yes.
I do.
And she have a lot of great shows. That's what I love. And Dr. Tangi, she will answer you guys back. You gotta tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I love Manifesto, and I love it because you have different shows. Like I love the one when you was drinking your little tea. I love it. I was like, I will scream out and say, Dr. Tangi, save me a cup.
We do that every week.
See, I love that.
But you're also doing a lot in Atlanta as well. I noticed that you're out there a lot. So what's anything coming up? What's coming up next?
You know, actually, I am attending a function. Influencer 365 will have Lisa Nicole Cloud as a presenter at one of their events. I'll be attending that event on the 27th. But I have so many invitations that I cannot attend them all. It's really interesting.
I believe you too, but people need to
have the
hear
right
from
ones.
you. Yeah, exactly.
Ones out for you.
I always say, Lord, you guide my step every step of the way, because I know you won't lead me astray. So you guys, we are going to we gotta end. Gosh, I had more questions, but it's all good. No, so you guys, do not forget. Also, don't forget your girls. Let's Get Personal with Latonya and Ray every Tuesday at
8:30.
8:30. We
PM.
will be on, yes, on worldstarhitradio.com. We love you all, and Dr. Tandy, thank you so much.